Welcome to the summit, everyone. I'm Amy Nesbitt, and I'm excited to have Deanna Yates with me as we talk about creating a life and home with intention. Deanna is the host of the popular podcast, Wanna Be Clutter Free, where she helps busy families learn how to let go of the stuff holding them back so they can enjoy more time together, stop spending our weekends cleaning house, and get the life that they really want. She was also part of my very first Whole Wellness Mama Summit previously, so it is so good to have you back, Deanna.
Oh, Amy, thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Many people are meeting you for the very first time. Can you share your quick story of how you came to where you are?
Sure, I will try to keep this very short because it is kind of a long story. So we traveled as a family. So when our daughter was born, my husband and I had a business. We were working together. We basically never left the house because it was a startup and it was just all the time. So I had this baby in my arms and I'm working at my computer and I'm thinking I could do this from anywhere. So we decided to travel with her. We took 6 months and we lived in Europe and we sold 90% of what we owned. And then it got a little stressful on the road, so we came back. And then when we came back, though, we bought a three-bedroom house. And that house filled with stuff. You know, everyone told us you needed the toys, and we had very generous family, and they gifted us furniture and things and clothes and all of the stuff. I mean, we filled up a three-bedroom house, like more than we should have. And looking at those two lifestyles side by side, right after another, right? Within the same year, it was so obvious to me that the stuff was causing me a lot of stress, right? I was so overwhelmed and I was so stressed. And it was like, I get that I am a new mom and I get that I'm trying to start a business and I get that there's a lot going on, but I'm more stressed now than I was when I was on the road with no safety net, with no, community, with nobody around me. Why am I more stressed? And it really came back to the amount of stuff we had in our home and the amount of stuff we had in our lives. And also a lot of the mental stuff going on with having, a business and a baby and all the different things going on and trying to do all the things and be all the things to everybody. So I really figured out that clutter, whether it was the physical stuff or even the stuff that was on my calendar on a regular basis, was not giving me the life that I wanted, right? I didn't want to be this stressed out and I didn't want to be the mom that wasn't there with my kiddo all the time. And whether that was physically there but not mentally there. That's what I found the most at that time in my life. And so that's where this all stemmed from, where I went, okay, no, I got to get a handle on this stuff.
I love that. And that's why we're talking today, right? The whole purpose of this summit is to live and parent with intention. And we're talking about all things cultivating a space, a home with intention today. And many busy moms feel overwhelmed by, as you said, the sheer amount of stuff in our homes and
Yeah.
the never-ending task that is our lives of keeping things organized. And perhaps even the word declutter is overwhelming because we all
Yeah.
know that we should and we want to, but it's just a lot of stuff. So, can you explain how the art of subtraction or decluttering can be a powerful tool in reducing the stress and helping to create a more peaceful home environment?
Yeah, I think that most people, when you say declutter, they all go, "Ugh." Like everybody has this like physical adverse reaction to decluttering because honestly, nobody wants to go through their stuff. Even I don't want to go through my stuff. So it is okay if you're having this moment of like, oh, please, I don't want to do it. I know. Okay, so we're going to make it a little bit better. We're just going to talk about subtracting out the things that don't add value, right? I'm not saying you have to live in stark white walls without stuff, without being able to have things you love and enjoy and use, right? But those are the things, right? Those are the three thresholds that they have to hit. If you keep something in your house, it has to be because you use it, because you love it, or because it means something to you. And I like to tell people that in their home, I want your home to tell your story. And our home tells our story when people walk in. We have pictures of places we've traveled. This is Rio de Janeiro. Like this is hang gliding off of the cliff there. And so we filled our home with things and, pictures that are meaningful to us, things that have come from our family that's meaningful. But by having less stuff, so we want to talk about that, like, because the more stuff you have in your home, the more mentally your mind is overwhelmed. That visual clutter clouds your mind because you're sitting there and you're doing your stuff or you're whatever. And it's like the squirrel moment of the dog, right? Like you see this thing,
Mhm.
oh, I got to do that. Oh, I didn't do the laundry. Oh, I forgot to empty the dishwasher. Oh my gosh, I've got to go grocery shopping. Oh my gosh, did I fill out that permission slip form? Like you just keep spiraling down this path. And so if we don't have a way to clear that off, right? We want to clear that out and all that stuff that we don't need can just make room for all of these important things that we do have to remember. Of course, we have to remember to fill out the permission slip and we have to remember to do the grocery shopping and these things. So we want to make sure we have the space, just the clarity to be able to say, like, okay, we can do this. So subtracting lets us get rid of those things that no longer serve us and give us that physical space, which gives us the mental space to actually be able to have the capacity and take that on. So does that make sense? Hopefully
Yes,
that's helpful.
absolutely. Yeah, I think about also the other day I went in to spend time with my child, right? And all the stuff on the floor just
Oh,
I went, "Oh my gosh, can you clean the floor first?" And that was not the point, right? The point was to have our one-on-one time.
yeah,
And you just get distracted by these things.
totally.
Yeah.
Well, so can we talk about a quick little tip? I know you like to do
Sure.
your tips at the end, but I think the best way somebody can implement this today is to take a quick 10-minute declutter. I'm going to give you a few action steps so you get to pick. It's like a choose your own adventure. I'm only going to give you two though, so it's not too bad. So just choose one or the other today to do, and they can both be done in just a few minutes. So this one is your quick 10-minute declutter. I want you to pick one place that's super impactful for you, like a high impact area. This might be your kitchen counter, it might be your kid's floor, it might be your car, it might be your entryway, something that's going to make a place in your home that's going to make a big difference for you tomorrow. So we're not doing our garage, we're not doing our underwear drawer, we're not doing something that you don't see, right? I know a lot of people will start with that because it will feel productive, but it's not really going to help you tomorrow. So this is high impact that's going to make a big difference tomorrow. You're going to set your timer for 10 minutes. That's all you need. I promise that is all you need for a small area. I know it sounds really scary, but if you can do this within, like, if you set your timer, you'll race and then you don't get bogged down with all these hard decisions. And you can set stuff off to the side. This doesn't have to be perfectly done or a one time deal, right? This is, we're just making progress today. So you're going to have a garbage bag, preferably black, so you don't see what you throw away, so you don't second guess yourself. Recycle bin to throw, obviously anything that can be recycled. You're going to have a go back bin, so something that you're keeping but it goes somewhere else, and then a donation bin. So anything that you're getting rid of that's useful that someone else can use, obviously we want to do that. And I put it in a box so that I can close it up and put it in my car. I'm not shifting stuff around the house, right? Make a decision right now. I'm going to deal with this stuff today and make the decision once. Because if you put it in a pile, you're going to have to declutter that pile again. And now you will second guess yourself. Something from that pile will come back into your house, even though you don't need it. Okay. Set your timer, look through the stuff in this one little area you've chosen, your high impact area. And then at the end of it, timer's going to go off, beep, beep, beep. Garbage in the garbage can, recycle in the recycle can, put the donation box in your car or by your front door if you don't drive and that's where you're going to see stuff to go out. And then take the go back bin and go put things around. It will take you 15 minutes tops for all of that, but you'll do 10 minutes of solid decluttering.
I love this. My kids and I have started to do like 15-minute at the end of the day, like
Awesome.
resets or, quick things. And we race each other. We're like, okay, let's do this. Let's do that. It's kind of like teamwork. It also becomes fun. But I love your like not clear bag trick
Right.
because I don't even know how many times the kids have been like, oh, wait, what's that? What go in there? Right? And we're like, no, 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 that's not what we're doing.
Kids. Oh my gosh, especially with the kids. Yes.
Yeah, I love those tips. So, as we talk about decluttering and subtracting, we might understand these things fundamentally and go, yes, I totally agree. But shifting our mindset is a huge part of this, right? So, I am also in the midst of moving homes and I'm feeling this very
Mm,
deeply of like, what do we keep, sentimentals, all that. So, for the moms who might feel guilty about letting go of some of those sentimental things they've spent money on, that's definitely me. What would you say to help them shift their mindset towards subtraction? How can letting go actually make room for more of what we love.
Yeah. So I think if we look at our lives and we say, at the end of the day, like, what is it that I really want in life? Generally, a house filled with stuff isn't the thing we're thinking of that we want, right? We want the connection with our kids. We want to have these wonderful memories. We want to have time with our family, with our loved ones. We want to feel fulfilled. Like, I think that can absolutely and absolutely should be on your list for you to like have a mission and feel fulfilled with your own life. So whether that's personal development, self-care, whatever that is. So I know as moms, we often put our families first, but I want us to also be on that equal level. And so I think if we look at it from that perspective, right, we've got to shift the idea of stuff is a tool, stuff is something for us to be used in order to get the end goal, which is better time, more time with our family, more fulfilling time with our family, yeah, having your stuff that works for a hobby that that's your personal development time and that makes you feel better and it lights you up and brings your best self to the table to be a better mom, to be a better person and a better partner. Those are my 3 P's. That's really what you want in life, right? And so if you can have that idea in the back of your head, when you decide that that's what you want your life to be and how you want your life to be and how you want to show up, then you can evaluate your stuff against that. And now let's talk about sentimental because that's a huge one. Um, so let's say, obviously, moms, we're going to have all of the baby stuff, right? All of the stuff when our little ones were babies. And it's really hard to let that stuff go because you're like, oh, and you remember it. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's so sweet. And then it's just really hard to let it go. But if we can think of one special thing, and this works with baby things, this works with things you get from loved ones, maybe that have passed away or that are just really special to you, if you find one, or I would say between 1 to 5, it's a sliding scale, right? How close you are to the person, I think allows you to keep a couple more things.
Mhm.
So it's a little sliding scale there, but the less you keep, the more special those things actually become. And the more your memories around that person actually kind of then cement and solidify, and you're like, oh, okay. And every time you look at that thing, you're still going to have the same feeling. So let's say you kept 10 baby shirts, you're going to have the same feeling if you look at 10 baby outfits than one baby outfit. You're going to have the same feelings. So you don't need the extra 9 to keep the memories that with the one, right? And so I'm not saying get rid of everything. Obviously, we want to keep some things, but if we can really decide what kind of life we want to be living and how we want to show up, evaluate our stuff against that, and then just keep 1 to 5 things at most about a person or a time, something that way. And then your action. Okay, I'm going to give you 3 action steps. Your action step for this one, if you're struggling with sentimental, is to take a picture of the item.
Mm.
And then if you want to take it up a notch, if you have a moment, just jot a quick couple sentences about that thing, right? In like open notes, or a Word doc or something, Google Docs, something like that. And just write a quick little 2 sentence. It will take you 30 seconds for each picture. Obviously, we're not going to be able to do a lot at once because we're moms and we're busy. But if you just did like one a day, or just as you run across them, right? As you're going through your home and you're decluttering, you're like, oh, okay, quick picture. And then what was this thing? And then by the end of the year, you've got this beautiful journal that you didn't have to sit down and go, okay, now I'm going to write my journal. I'm going to do my thing. But it's like if you just do it as you're going through your day, it makes it so much easier.
Oh, I love the bite-size chunks of things, right? Because you're right. It gets very, very overwhelming to try to do all these things at the end.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, it's easy to accumulate things over time, especially with our kids. We have talked about this.
Yeah.
They want things, we want things. And I love that we can start having this conversation with our kids of like, what are our values? What are our priorities? It's not about the things, right? So I absolutely love that that we're talking about that and modeling that, right?
Yes.
Because I can also tell them you don't need that thing, but then if I'm buying a bajillion things, that just doesn't
Yes.
make sense.
Yes.
So we've already talked about some of these manageable ways to go about decluttering our homes. Are there more ways that you want to share about how to make this more manageable rather than overwhelming so that we can really dive into this as a way of life?
Yeah, I think if we just understand that it doesn't have to be all done at once. And that is so difficult. I will say that I'm the first person to be like, no, I'm rage cleaning this weekend. I'm doing the whole thing. And sometimes that still happens. It's okay. Sometimes that happens, right? Life sometimes gets busy and you don't have a chance to do all of the little bite sized things. So don't get down on yourself if you're listening to this going, yeah, 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 fine. All right. Works for her. But, it does actually work if we can just do small, little increments and know that okay, so a little trick here is once something comes in, it's so much harder to get it out. And I just thought of that saying the other day. I'm a child of the 80s. So a moment on the lips, a lifetime on the hips, right? Do you remember hearing this? A moment on the lips,
I
a
did
lifetime
not.
on the
No.
hips. All right,
Totally
so
makes sense.
total 80s kid. But I was thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, it's the same in my house, right? A moment through the door, like as soon as it comes through the door, it's almost like it's a lifetime I have to store it, right? It's like I just had this moment of like, oh, so if you can keep stuff from coming into your house,
Mm,
it is so much easier, especially if you have sentimental kids, or sensitive kids that like really want to hold on to their things and all of their things, mean something. The less you can bring in, the easier it is. So take pictures when you're at the store, like if they really want to buy something.
mhm.
Perfect. We're going to put this on our birthday list, right? We're going to put this on the Christmas wish list. And you just take a picture of them with the thing. And then honestly, that almost is enough for them sometimes to be like, oh, I have it. It was just a memory. I just wanted to know about that thing. And then you have this list curated at the holidays when it comes up because nobody wants to sit down 2 weeks before and be like, oh, okay, what did they want? What did they want? What did they want? And nobody has time to think about this. So if you have all those pictures though, save them in a little album, wish list, and then you've got them all there ready for you as they come in. So it's just teeny tiny little things you can do at the moment to make your life so much easier later. I also like to do this with my pictures. We do a picture calendar every year. So every month I go through and I pick my favorites from that month. So then at the end of the year, I just go through my favorites, dump, they're all done. Maybe I take out a few here or there, depending on, maybe we had a really busy month, so we have too many pictures, or I move some around and sneak them into a different month because I didn't have enough in that one month. But
Yeah.
it's just easy because now I have all of them there instead of going through the 1,000 pictures I took that year. I have 100 to go through instead.
I love that because I do the same thing. I've been there where at the end of the year, I'm going,
Yes.
oh my gosh, my Shutterfly coupon's gonna expire or something, you know? And so I'm like rushing to get it done and looking
Yeah.
through all these different things. And now I just go through it periodically and I make it a fun thing with my kids too, of like reliving that month and we
Yeah.
pick it together. Yeah.
Yeah. Love that.
So, okay, people might be listening and think, yes, Deanna, I agree. I want to get rid of the stuff, but gosh, my
Yes.
kids or family will never be on board with this. So, can we
Hmm.
talk about how do we start having these conversations with our family to discuss and agree and have our, I guess, values on our material lives, for lack of a better phrase? How do we start communicating and getting on the same page with that?
I think you said it earlier. You have to model the behavior you want, right? So you can't say, I mean, we're going to go not to cluttering. We're going to go something totally different so that people are like, oh, okay, I get that. You can't say, I want you to eat healthy and then open up a bag of chips and soda, right? Like, you can't say, here are your carrots and apples, and mommy's going to go have a brownie. Like, that's not going to work, right? Your kids aren't going to be like, oh, yay, great. They're going to be like, I don't think so. And so, if you can think of that ridiculous example, you have to understand that your life is the same way, right? If you're saying, I want you to get rid of this stuff, but like you said, I just bought this, that, or whatever. I just went to Target and blew 200 bucks.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for them to be like, that's not fair, right? And we all know what it's like when things don't feel fair. And I mean, kids, that's all they want. They want life to be fair, like as far as I know, because that's what mine wanted, right? She just wanted everything to be fair. And as long as it was fair, she didn't care if it wasn't great, but as long as it was equal, it was cool.
Yeah.
So I think it starts with understanding that you need to be the role model. And so it comes back to that decide, right? You have to decide how you want to show up for your family. And if you want to show up as that role model, then what does that mean? And then sit down, like you're saying, have a conversation, talk about it, be open and say, hey, you know what? I think we really should implement our family values. What do we value? Do we value time together? Do we value vacations? Do we value experiences? Oh, great. Okay, well, we have a gift opportunity coming up. What opportunity, like, or what experiences should we do? We could go, okay, so we have maybe three choices. We could buy some new stuff from whatever the things that they're wanting, or we could go to the zoo, or, we could get zoo passes for the whole year and we could go all year to the zoo, or we could have movie day or whatever. I don't know what it is that your family would like to do, but pick the thing that your family would like to do. You have an amusement park near you? We can go to Disneyland for the day or whatever it is that fits within your budget that your family would like to do. And being able to give them these opportunities to say, oh gosh, yeah, now I see there's a choice, right? Because I think sometimes we get wrapped up and we go into debt trying to do everything when we need to say it's going to be fun. We're going to have more fun and more memories. Think about the things you remember in your life. It's usually the things you did, like the memories you made versus that thing you had. If you can think back to all the toys you had as a kid, you probably can't. And you wouldn't remember them all. And if you're having trouble, ask your parents about like what toys did I like really want, and then be like, I don't even remember that. Right. And just understand, like, okay, what are the vacations we went on as a kid? Oh my gosh, I totally remember that, or that. And
Mhm.
the experiences will expose your kids to more things. So I'm getting a little off tangent here, but I love I get very passionate about experiences
Me
because I
too.
think they are such a great way to just build those moments, and then you can come back and you can put together the photo album and you can get that out and you can look at it and you can put it on a, get one of those. I have one of those skylight frames and I love it, and it rotates through all our photos, and then all these photos come up, you go, oh my gosh, right, remember that.
Yeah.
And it gives you a moment to think about. You do not put photos of the things in your house on your skylight frame. You just don't, right? You put the photos of the people in your life and doing fun things. And so that's where I get a little, whew, we can do this. We can have adventures, we can do experiences, and they will live in everyone's mind in your family so much more. And if that's too expensive, like if vacations are too expensive, there's a super fun book, like a family adventure scratch off book. I can't even
Mhm.
think of what it's called, but like get something like that that's $50, right? And you can have so many more experiences and go through and scratch these things off and do silly things as a family and take pictures during them. And it's so fun to look back on those kinds of things and those experiences versus I bought another toy.
Yeah. That gets tossed aside in like 2 weeks or
And
something,
can
right?
we talk about how cheap everything is nowadays? Like it's so cheaply made and nothing lasts. And I threw something out in the garbage and I was just like, oh, this makes me feel so bad. I hate throwing this away. But it's like, it's broken and it
Yeah.
wasn't even that old. And everything is just so cheaply made today. Make experiences instead of buying it.
Yeah. And we have done this thing where we say, okay, who do we want to give stuff away to, right? Because it doesn't have
Yes.
to be this, we're tossing it away because one, I feel wasteful, but two, I also feel like the kids get all lost on, oh my gosh, we're throwing away this thing. But if we can give it a new home, a better home, right?
Yeah,
Then I think there's a good feeling that attaches to it and you feel generous and all of that too.
for sure. Yeah.
And I want to go back to the part where you were saying having this quick high impact cleaning, right? Because
Yes.
I think, well, I'll ask you where your suggestions are for starting. I think you kind of shared, but for the
Yeah.
most impact, and it could depend on the family, right? It totally does. We usually do like the living area, but
Sure.
um I think seeing those wins for everybody, right? That motivates us to keep going. And sometimes we go beyond that 10, 15 minutes because we're like, oh, we're on such a roll. Like we can
Yeah.
do this, which is great. And it becomes this routine, fun thing that we do together. So, do you have any tips on most impact spots and all that?
Yeah, I think like you said, it depends on the family. But one area that might work really well would be like your dining table. So if
Mhm,
your dining table is a catch-all, that's going to be a great place to start because it's going to clear it off. And now it's going to make room for these experiences like playing board games or playing
mhm,
cards or having dinner together at the table instead of sitting around the TV on TV trays or whatever, right? Having these moments where you can meet and be together, enjoying each other's company and connecting versus just being in the same room and existing is going to make a huge difference. And I think you'll be surprised at even if it's a little awkward at first, if you've gotten out of the habit and you haven't been having family dinners or anything like this, you can start with a couple like questions as you sit around the table
mhm,
and be like, okay, so what was your favorite part of today? Or, what was a challenge today? Um, I think I read an article one time about the owner of Spanx, so the creator of Spanx,
mhm,
and she was talking about the one thing her father would ask her every day was, "Where did you fail today?" And I'm like,
mm.
okay. But she said it really helped her be like, "Oh, it's okay to fail. I get back up," right? And he was kind of like, "You have to fail every day at something because if you don't, then you're not growing and you're not trying something new." So if your family's on board and can have that action spirit, go for it. I think that's really interesting, but just having that moment, that space. So I would say dining table, if that's cleared off, and you're already having these moments of connection, then go with something that is also very visually difficult for you. So maybe it's your countertops, maybe it's your entryway. Like if you can't open your door, if you're like struggling to open your door
Yeah,
and get in and there's shoes everywhere, get a basket or a box even, right? Again, don't rush out and get organizing things. Use what you have in your house. And then if you love it, if the system works, then you can upgrade to the nice, pretty things. We want to start and create the systems and get rid of the stuff, right? We're subtracting first before we make it pretty. So it's kind of the path to having it sustainable. Because if you rush out and you go grab all the bins first, it's like a band aid over like something that needs stitches.
yeah, yeah,
You're not actually going to be healing yourself. You're just going to be like, okay,
yeah.
sopping it up.
Another
Um,
thing, yeah.
yeah, it's just another thing added to the mix. So, yeah.
I love that. Well, you alluded to at the end of our talks, we like to give everyone a quick action or challenge to complete today because we have so many things that we've talked about and so many ideas to mull over, but we want people to start now, right? And feel like they can get a win in. So we've talked about a few different things. Do you want to give our parents a action for today and they can tell us how they did and ask
Yes.
questions as they come up?
Yes. Okay. Let's do the 10-minute tidy, right? Like, do that 10 minutes of decluttering. That's going to make the biggest impact. I love doing the 5-minute power tidy. Like you were talking every day with your kids, you do 15 minutes. I think you can even do just 5 minutes every day, but that's going to be ongoing. And that's kind of like the maintenance. And you will make progress as you go, but I want you to make big progress today. So set that timer for 10 minutes, get out those four things, right? Okay, we're going to remind you trash bag, recycle bin, a go back bin, and a donation box. Those are the four things you need. And then set your timer 10 minutes. You can do it. Clear off that dining table if it's not cleared off. Go for another high impact area if that's going to be a better fit for you. And then, yes, come back and let us know. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what you tidied and how it went, like what area, because all of us
Totally.
might have different areas that we attacked.
Yeah, that'd be super fun.
Yeah. Let's talk about your fantastic freebie because you have one. Can you share what that is?
Yes. So I have a new workshop out called Clutter Freedom, and it walks you through the 3 steps that you need to do in order to declutter and organize your house once and for all. And it doesn't just pertain to the physical stuff in your life, it really is your life overall. And so it's a really fun training. It's 3 steps, and they are decide, oust, and manage. And those are the 3 steps you need to really take back control of your home and your life.
I
So it's
love
free. Come on over and check it out.
And then for the summit, we also have a VIP upgrade option. And many people have already jumped on this because not only do you get to keep these talks forever to revisit, and I know I get something new out of it every time I revisit it, but there are also fabulous speaker bonuses that are included, and they're normally paid products. So, Deanna, you have a fantastic planner that is going to be included for the upgrade. Can you share what that is?
Yes, so it's a digital planner. It's called Simply a Better Year, and you can start it anytime. I know this is going to be in October, so if you're thinking, oh gosh, I've got to wait till January, no, you can start anytime. Every month has a different theme, and there's 365 tips and tactics and things you can do every day that will help you get clutter free. And yeah, normally that's a paid planner, so go ahead and get that downloaded.
What an amazing deal. I love that. Anything else you want to share with our parents before we wrap up?
You can do it. I know it's overwhelming and I know it's hard. And I know you're getting so much information thrown at you this week, which is amazing. So do take the moment to upgrade because you will want to come back to all of this stuff. But just know that you can do hard things, right? You can do amazing things. You're already doing amazing things every day in your life. And just putting a little bit of priority in place will really help you tackle that overwhelm and really be intentional in your life. So I believe in you.
We all believe in you. We are here to journey alongside you. We are here to support you. So drop any questions, comments, anything as you go through. And thank you so much, Deanna, for sharing how we can enhance our homes and the joy we feel each day.
Thank you, Amy.